Three diseases that are going to explode in the next 10 years: autoimmune, anxiety and depression, type 2 diabetes. Explode over the next 10 years, which means we are not getting healthier. We're walking away from health. My name's Kristen. I'm the founder of Living the Good Life Naturally. Join me in taking back your health and not being a part of those numbers. Now, we talk about it's exploding, but I wanted to be specific and I wanted to give you some numbers. So I'm going to look down at my paper here because I did some research over the weekend and put together some numbers. And remember, we're talking about magnesium and the role that it plays in anxiety and depression, autoimmune, and what was the other one? Autoimmune and type 2 diabetes. Magnesium is foundational in all three of those diseases. That over the next 10 years, let's go to anxiety and depression, which hits home for me. It's been a part of my journey. 40% increase over the next 10 years. Let's go to autoimmune. That's me. I was diagnosed with celiac disease years and years before it was the in thing to eat gluten-free. 63% increase over the next 10 years. And let me just say, I did not mean that disrespectfully. So many people feel better being gluten-free and as a part of their journey. Didn't mean it the way that came across. The next one, diabetes, 36% increase in women. Okay, so I focus on women because when a woman feels better, all the people around her are lifted. When she's tired and not showing up, feeling good, it makes a difference in everyone. And so when you put that to numbers over the next 10 years, 20 million plus 400,000. Let's not forget the 400,000. 20,400,000 women will be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, anxiety and or depression, and autoimmune. 20,400,000. What plays a role in every single one of those? Magnesium. And yes, pills make a difference. I'm not saying they don't, but they don't move your interstitial levels of magnesium. And soaking in magnesium has been shown to do that. Soaking in magnesium has been shown to move your interstitial levels. I want to know, are you soaking in magnesium? Have you achieved cell saturation? The whole goal of these lives is to help people understand, remind them, maybe motivate them a little bit that they need to take time for ourselves. We need to. We need to take time for ourselves to soak in magnesium because we are walking away from lifting the very people that we love the most in our sphere of influence when we don't feel good. I woke up this morning bounding with energy. Even though the weekend I had a really late night and very full, I was ready to go this morning. My magnesium levels are up. It helps to restore my body. So let's go to each of those diseases. Now, remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not telling you what to do. You and I are just having a conversation, right? And you're going to do what's best for you because healthy women have strong filters. We are having a conversation to keep us focused, to keep us motivated, to keep us remembering. I think that's such an important word. Remembering that by giving, doing for others constantly leads us to burnout, which leads us to anxiety and depression, autoimmune, and blood sugar balance issues. Now, is that the only factor? No, but it is a core factor. And so we are taking back responsibility, which can feel a little overwhelming if you're already burdened, if you're already overwhelmed with all the things you have to do. Taking more responsibility for your health feels a little uncomfortable. Your ability to heal is determined by your ability to be uncomfortable. How comfortable are you sitting with discomfort? Because the healing journey is about taking more responsibility for your body, your life, and your choices. Let's talk about the role soaking in magnesium plays in each of those diseases. So, blood sugar balance, whether that's insulin sensitivity, walking away from type 2 diabetes, keeping your A1C down, A1C is one of those things that I think everybody needs to know their number. Not everybody. Most people do better knowing where that number is. Because when you know where that number is, you know if you're on the right path or not, if you need to make minor course corrections. Because soaking in magnesium has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and help balance blood sugars. So let's say you just had a big meal and your blood sugar is supposed to go up, right? But we don't want it going too high. Soaking in magnesium has been shown to play a role in keeping it balanced. It also has been shown to reduce inflammation. Anytime you reduce inflammation, blood sugar will more easily adapt to the best optimal numbers for your body. It is a disease that kills you slowly. You lose and it's almost like, think of that analogy of the frog getting boiled. It happens so slowly that the frog just stays in the water versus jumping out if it were really hot. That's what disease does. It takes away your potential one little piece at a time, specifically type 2 diabetes. One little step at a time. It takes away from who you are. And I need you showing up in the world. You might be that person that creates something that changes the course of my grandchildren's life. And if you're not feeling good, you're not going to be able to put those goals, dreams, and visions into action. They'll just stay in your head thinking about them. It's so important that we support each other because women change the world. I'm convinced. In fact, the wall behind me is focused on women. The gallery wall behind me, it's either a female artist, a picture of a woman, a journey of a woman, mine specifically, and a picture of my great grandmother, pictures of my daughters, women. And it's to remind me every time that I look at it that as women, we are connected. Healthy women are connected women. Magnesium, soaking in magnesium, more than just a pill, reaching interstitial levels is what makes a difference in your foundational layer of balancing blood sugar and walking away from the 20.4 million women in the next 10 years that will experience these three top diseases. Have you soaked? 20 minutes. That's all it takes. I do it while I return emails. Sometimes I do it in the evening. Healthy women are creative women. They create that space and time to make it work for them. We recognize that doing and overdoing is leading us to burnout. And obviously, it's not working because 20.4 100,000 women will be diagnosed in the next 10 years with these three diseases. That's a lot of women that are losing their potential. A lot. Okay, next one. Let's go to anxiety and depression. Magnesium and soaking in magnesium has been shown to play a role in managing and mitigating symptoms. Now, notice, please, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing. I'm not prescribing. I'm not telling you that magnesium will heal everything. I am telling you it's a foundational piece to your health that you might be missing if your interstitial levels are not where they need to be, because that's where your body gets magnesium levels from for your organs. We don't just want a spot, well, I don't want just a spot treatment of a pill that's been isolated. Isolated nutrition doesn't work. We know that. If it did, you and I could both eat cold cereal 3 times a day and receive 100% of our daily minerals and vitamins. Read the back of the box. Doesn't work that way. Isolated nutrition doesn't work. And, sometimes I think, Kristen, is it time to be done talking about magnesium? Over 20 years, I think I'm at like 25, that I've been talking about soaking in magnesium and talking specifically about the quality of magnesium. And I've debated whether to bring this up because I've been a little emotional about it over the weekend. The majority of magnesium that companies are using is road-based magnesium for roads. I don't care about the quality or the impurities of magnesium on the road. It can be a lower standard. I'm fine with that. But I don't want that in my body. Companies are looking at profit, not healing. I'm looking at healing. I healed my body from a crash over 20 years ago, and I've been able to interact and connect and build my dreams, and I'm still focused on them. There's still more to come because I took my foundation and made it strong. And that starts with soaking in magnesium. So let's get to anxiety and depression. One of the things that anxiety does is it shuts down your calm, your nervous system. It puts you into fight or flight. When you are in fight or flight, no healing happens. When you're soaking in magnesium, it helps activate your own natural GABA stores, and GABA is that calming. Now, there are some times that I take some extra GABA in the form of a supplement. Magnesium helps to activate your body's own GABA. And when you activate that GABA, anxiety is lessened. Notice I didn't say it completely takes it away. I'm not saying it heals everything. I am saying it starts the healing to everything. When you feel that interstitial space around your red blood cells, soaking in magnesium can get you there. Not road grade. Not road grade magnesium. Profit's great, right? I'm okay with profit. But how I make that profit is foundational and a driving principle in my company. This is not road grade magnesium. I have wondered, how are other companies selling that? Because I know the certified mine, I know the price cost, I know the lowest price you can get it at. How are they doing that? Two ways. They water it down or they're using a road grade magnesium. I don't want either of those. That's why Living the Good Life Naturally was created, because I wanted access to the best magnesium there was from Zechstein Inside. And if it doesn't have that Zechstein Inside stamp of approval, it's not from the cleanest and only mine that is certified by European standard for topical use. I don't want road grade magnesium. Now, we're talking about anxiety and depression and the roles that magnesium plays, soaking in magnesium. And another that it does, we talked about GABA and how it helps you tap into your natural GABA stores, which helps calm when you've got anxiety going on. The other thing that it does is it has been shown, I have to be careful with my words I use, has been shown to help reduce cortisol in your body. Now, here's where it gets really interesting to me, because if you're stressed out and experience anxiety, you have high cortisol. When you have high cortisol, your body's in fight or flight. When you're in fight or flight, you don't heal. But here's the other thing that happens for those of us that experience anxiety. And that is when your body goes to produce hormones, to those building blocks of hormones to produce your own hormones, the building blocks are gone because they were used to produce cortisol, leaving you not only experiencing the fight or flight of having anxiety, but also experiencing hormone imbalance. So it's like hard thing on top of hard thing. How hard is it to wake up if you've got a double hard with what's happening in your body? So let's make sure you're soaking in magnesium, you're achieving cell saturation and saturating the interstitial spaces around your red blood cell so that your organs have enough of the only certified by European standard magnesium that has not been watered down, is not road magnesium. I don't care what quality they use on the road. I do care what quality I soak in and my family soaks in. That's why Living the Good Life Naturally was created, so that I could basically be a control freak and be in charge of that supply chain. So maybe we could say some of my control issues have created some positives. I don't know. Maybe that's twisting it. Okay. The other thing it does is when we experience anxiety, it walks us away from energy. So soaking in magnesium helps to rebalance your voltage. Voltage to the cell is the core of your energy stores. And if you don't have good voltage to the cell, everything is decreased in your body. Thyroid, hormones, sleep, brain function. Everything is decreased if you don't have voltage. That's why for me, anytime something's happening, I always go to my voltage. So for example, in my water glass today, I have voltage. I have a little homemade concoction of electrolytes that will help supply my body with voltage. I feel better when I'm getting 2 of these in a day. Now, sometimes in the winter, I don't need as much because my body's not sweating as much. This morning, out watering my flowers, even though it was the cool of the morning, it was already starting to get hot. And so you lose that voltage through sweating. And so balancing your electrolytes becomes a part, and magnesium and soaking in magnesium is the master mineral that helps with potassium and sodium doing what they need to do. Okay, the last one that I want to talk about today is, and I see some comments, as soon as we've focused on autoimmune, I'll pop over to those comments so you and I can talk with each other. Autoimmune, celiac disease. And once you've been diagnosed with one autoimmune disorder, most people experience another and another and another. The umbrella just starts collapsing in on you. How does soaking in magnesium help support autoimmune? And remember, 20 million women over the next 10 years are going to be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, an autoimmune disorder, and oh my gosh, I'm just going blank today. Autoimmune, diabetes, and anxiety and or depression. And I don't want to be a part of that 20 million. Oh, but wait a minute. Let's not forget 20 million plus 400,000 over the next 10 years. Women, that's just women. That's not men and children. That's women. 20 million plus women will walk away from their potential. And you cannot achieve your full optimal potential if you don't have the master mineral of magnesium. It doesn't heal everything. It starts the healing and everything. If you're low in vitamin D, I already know you're low in magnesium because you can't get low in vitamin D unless you're low in magnesium. And I want my interstitial spaces filled. We know that pills benefit. There are different types for different things. When you focus on filling the interstitial space, you don't have to focus on all the different types of magnesium, one for this, one for that, one for this. That's so confusing to me. So I went to the foundation, the baseline, filling my interstitial space. Let my body tap into its own intuitive wisdom, give it enough magnesium to do what it needs. Soaking in pure sea brine, not processed, not diluted, not road magnesium quality. I'm in it for healing. Healing. This is the only place you can get magnesium that is from the certified European Union. And they are demanding in their quality. The only place I will get my magnesium from. And I will not water it down. And I will not mix it from magnesium flakes. Even magnesium flakes from the same place don't give you the benefit that brine does because they've been processed. Think of a sourdough bread to a whole wheat bread to a white bread. You start at the sourdough and it supports health. You continue down that chain and you get less and less from that bread. Magnesium's the same way. The brine is the gold standard. You go down to flakes. Yeah, if you're getting it from a good source, they might be clean, but they're processed and it's not giving you the full benefit to achieve magnesium cell saturation. The other thing with when we're talking about autoimmune is magnesium is a cytokine regulator. When you have a cytokine storm, you're going to have heat and you're going to be diagnosed with autoimmune. Soaking in magnesium has been shown to help regulate cytokines. You don't want a cytokine storm because that's where disease is happening. You don't want that. Soaking in magnesium has been shown to help balance that cytokine storm. It also helps lower cortisol. Anytime that we can bring cortisol down. So, for example, one of my favorite things to eat in the morning is some yogurt with some local honey. Why? Because both of those help manage and mop up excess cortisol. Soaking in magnesium also plays a role in mopping up excess cortisol, allowing your body to build hormones instead of just continually producing more cortisol. Because when you've got excess cortisol, your body cannot have hormone balance because your body will go to make those hormones and create those hormones. And if you've got lots of stress, they've already been taken in an emergency type of way to produce that cortisol. And so bringing that cortisol level down becomes incredibly important on the journey toward creating or maintaining optimal health. The other thing that soaking in magnesium has been shown to do is to help the detoxification pathways. Now, we know that those with with a renal failure, soaking in magnesium is not a good fit for you because the kidneys are compromised and you've got to work with your doctor to make sure you're creating appropriate pathways. When we're opening up those detoxification pathways, it's a clean pathway to the liver. Soaking in magnesium has been shown to do that. We've got to make sure our detox pathways are opening and allowing the body to do naturally what it's meant to do. Soaking in magnesium, the correct kind from the correct source, that's not road magnesium, it's not diluted magnesium, it's not processed from flakes, but pure sea brine from the only certified source. That's what this is. I'm in charge of the supply chain. That's what created my company over 25 years ago. And I want you to experience the real benefits of magnesium, activating your vitamin D, also repairing cellular energy. And if you have autoimmune, you're compromised in the mitochondria inside the cell. You are compromised. Soaking in magnesium has been shown to help build the bridge so you walk away from being compromised at the cellular level. So there's my not tirade, but there's my hill today. 20 million plus women in the next 10 years. That's 20 million plus women that won't be operating at their peak potential, that won't be creating things that make the world a better place. That is incredible loss. Incredible loss. So be a part. Come join me. Come soak with me. Soak your feet 20 minutes. That's all you need. You can do it in the bathtub or do it in a bowl of water. Benefits are the same. A quarter cup of magnesium, 20 minutes. I do it while I'm at my desk or while I'm winding down at night. It's pretty simple, but you have to create the time and space to take care of yourself. You have to say no to some things to say yes to yourself. And only you can determine what those things that you say no to are. That's part of that journey of creating that balance to be able to take care of yourself so that that natural gift of making the world a better place kicks in for you and the people in your sphere of influence. Okay, let's pop over here to comments. And I thank you. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kristen, on the gallery wall. I've had fun. It's still not done. It's taken me a lot longer. I have been collecting these pictures for a couple years. They're all thrift. No, not all of them. 90% of them are thrifted. And I've been collecting them for a while to get this wall up. And it's taking me a little bit longer. So I've still got some spots. Healthy women are creative women and focused on where can I be creative? And I want to tell you one thing. How do you hold on to magnesium? People ask me that all the time. Kristen, how can I make my soaking as beneficial as possible so that I'm not wasting resources and time? Go do something you love. My husband and I started with a granddaughter this little fairy garden in our backyard in this back corner, which, by the way, we just found out the home here is in the opening shot of Sandlot, my husband's favorite movie. There was a reason we loved this home when we walked in and just felt like we walked into home. The minute we opened the door, we knew we were going to buy it. And so back in the corner where the opening shot to Sandlot shows, we have this little fairy garden, and we, quote, started it with our granddaughter. My husband and I yesterday officially declared we enjoy working in the fairy garden as much as our grandchildren do. We find great joy in creating in that space. Now, when I was growing up, nobody said something and a way to be creative would be a fairy garden. It was sewing or quilting. Those were the two ways that in my world that women were creative. And I don't sew or quilt. I can do simple, but that's not my jam. Creating a fairy garden, doing gallery walls, that's my jam. Have you found yours yet? And do you do something every day in it? That's why I love junk journaling. I can do one page of junk journaling in 5 minutes. But that 5 minutes of joy, of bringing together little bits and pieces of paper and writing a line in my journal and adding a little splash of watercolor or paints, it's my happy place. Making sure that you're creating time and space to do those things that you love help you hold on to your magnesium. Putting the phone down and living and connecting and creating, finding those areas will help you hold on to magnesium. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Kristen, you're so kind. I thrifted that. Isn't that fun and gaudy? It reminded me of my Aunt Marva. And my Aunt Marva is actually on that wall too. And she wore really big, gaudy pieces of jewelry. So sometimes I love just simple minimalist, and then other times it's like bring it on, the gaudier, the better. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's an ode to my Aunt Marva. So thank you. It's pretty big. In fact, the guy said to me, wow, those are some big pearls. And I said, and aren't they beautiful? Because he was kind of dissing it with a smile. Yes, soaking. Kristen and Colleen, thank you so much for sharing with Amy your wisdom. You do not have to have a bathtub to soak. You can. Soaking your feet in a bowl that is not plastic, not aluminum, is as effective as soaking your entire body, which was shocking to me. But as we did the research and as we pooled women and got their feedback and had their magnesium red blood cell tested, we realized your feet act as the pump. And when your feet are in the water, that's the optimal benefit to soaking in magnesium and uptaking that magnesium. And I mean, to me, it kind of makes sense. I thought it made sense that putting your whole body in the water meant you were getting more magnesium. It's your feet that do the work. In fact, a lot of times, and I used to do this, I don't anymore. I've broken this habit. I'd get in the bathtub to soak and I'd put my feet up on the edge of the tub. You're not moving your magnesium interstitial levels by doing that. In fact, a lot of women who struggle moving their magnesium interstitial levels, I'll say to them, do you put your feet on the edge of the tub? When they say, Kristen, my numbers aren't moving, I'm not getting that benefit. One of the first questions I'll ask is, where are your feet when you soak, if you're soaking in the tub? They have to be down in the water. And so just a bowl. Plastic will stop the uptake. Stainless or aluminum does not play well. They don't like each other. And we don't want aluminum in our body. So soaking in aluminum is a no-go. Stainless steel, I've always said yes, but there's a big but here, in that the old school stainless steel that our grandparents, our grandmothers had is quality. Now they call it's this powder coat aluminum that they call stainless steel. That's garbage, and we don't want to soak in that. So basically, I say soak in glass or a bathtub. And the coating on the bathtub, even if it's like um, plastic looking bathtub, you still uptake. It is different than the molded plastic of a bowl. That molded plastic of a bowl stops the uptake. So I hope that that helped. Oh, Elizabeth, dancing for 5 minutes changes everything. I uh, I share things from my own journey, being on my journey, not as someone who's conquered it all at the top. Like I'm in the trenches. And when I married my husband, there was a couple things that I was looking for that I did not want. I did not want someone who tuned out on sports. I grew up in a family that the men stopped and they watched sports and the women cleaned and served them. And I did not want that lifestyle. I did not want that. And so I made sure that my husband, I asked him, I said, well, how do you feel about sports? He goes, well, if the San Francisco Giants are in the World Series, I enjoy watching that game, but it's not something I do. I did not know to ask about other things that he was really immersed in. Anyway, but one of the things I said to him, I said, I do not dance. I didn't realize how broken that statement was and how much that would hold me back from creating optimal health. Because now dancing is a privilege. And 5 minutes a day almost always happens in my life. You just add a little shimmy to it, add some good music. I'm a girl of the 80s. Add some good music or whatever music you love. add a little shimmy to that, and you feel better. It connects. Now, some people say, oh, that's such a woo-woo thing. No, actually, there's hardcore science behind that. It lessens cortisol. Creating those types of moments, 5 minutes in your garden, my morning routine grounds me. I'm out there in my garden, watering in the sunshine, just, in my happy place. That helps me hold on to my magnesium because there's different types of soakers when it comes to soaking in magnesium. And I realized as I was watching women, there are some women who only focus on soaking and they have to soak all the time because they're so stressed out. I didn't want that. I didn't want my life to be only about creating health. I wanted health created so I could live a big, beautiful life and live my dreams and take action on my goals. And the women I saw who were doing that were the ones that had that 5 minutes of dancing. And so I went to my husband and I said, will you dance with me for 5 minutes a day? And his immediate answer was, yes, I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd come to my side. Dancing helps you hold on to your magnesium. I would love to know what's your takeaway from the time that we spent together today. Would you be willing to help me create a pathway for other women and leave it in the comments below? Because when women create together, they impact other women. And I cannot tell you how many times I will get emails or texts or private messages or direct, all the different places we can interact with each other online, that they will say, so and so left this comment, and it was exactly what I needed. Do you have a minute that you could help me create community and just share with me what was your most powerful takeaway? And are you wanting to walk away of being a part of the 20,400,000 women who will be diagnosed with anxiety, depression, diabetes, or autoimmune over the next 10 years? Do you want to walk away from that? If so, join me. I go live Mondays and Wednesdays ish. Ish. There are times that I miss. And I'd love to have you join me on our Magnesium Masterclass. And that's where we dive a little bit deeper and we're on a class together so I can see your face. Right now, I can't see you, but on the Magnesium Masterclass, I can. And we just go a little bit deeper into topics. Like, for example, this last one, we did iron. And iron is something that's a forever nuanced. It's not just, oh, do this and your iron's good. And if you're anemic, and people think anemia is a disease, it's not. It's your body crying out for you to be an investigator. So last Magnesium Masterclass, we started the conversation with iron, and we'll continue that on because you can't deal with that in just 1 hour. I'd love to have you join me. And I love that today. Colleen's comment was, healthy women are creative women. Let me go here. I think I can show that. I'm asking myself, where can I be creative today? And then I love this one too. I want people to visually see that. Dancing, 5 minutes changes everything. Oh, and I always know when Kristen's on the call, notes get put up. Kristen always compiles. And I don't know if she realizes the impact of that, but for someone who can't watch, like we've been hanging out now for almost 40 minutes, you might not have 40 minutes. Go in the note section or go in the comment section underneath, and almost pretty consistently you'll see Kristen's notes for a quick uptake on what the live was about. Healthy women are creative women, and they tap into their creativity because it takes acknowledging your creativity to create optimal health. And projections on health have been pretty accurate. 20 million women over the next 10 years will become sicker. I don't want to be a part of that number. I don't want you to be a part of that number, because we need each other. And don't get me wrong, I love baths and self-care and all of that. But I think sometimes we're sending women to self-care when they actually need community care. Healthy women are connected women. When we are connected, we hold on to our magnesium more efficiently. My goal, magnesium cell saturation. Soaking in magnesium will get you there. I've seen over 10,000 women achieve it. You can too. There might be some nuances along the way. Join me. Let's talk about it. Hang out with each other, connect with each other, and create optimal health at the cellular level. We don't chase symptoms. We create optimal health at the cellular level. And that starts with boosting mitochondria function, with giving the mitochondria the magnesium they need, with the best, purest, non-diluted magnesium. I don't soak in road magnesium. It kind of grosses me out to even think about it. I hope you have the best day. I am going to drop some plans today for a new idea I had in the grandchildren's fairy garden, or the grandparents' fairy garden, because the grandparents are actually now working on it when the grandchildren are not there. And the papa of that grandparent equation actually spent $20 on a fish. This is the man who does not like to spend money at all. He spent $20 on a fish for the fairy garden pond. So find something you love doing, helps you hold on to that magnesium that you soak in, activate your magnesium levels, soak, get those levels up to activate your vitamin D, open the pathway. That's what we do here at Living the Good Life Naturally. Loved being with you today. Thanks for your comments and for sharing with me those things that you took away from today. Because as you know, there's so much information out there, and scrolling walks us away from being healthy. Taking action walks us toward. And I loved, and I so deeply appreciate you and sharing those things that impacted you, that you'll take forward today to create optimal health. See ya.